Hello everyone. Sarah here. Thank you so much for joining me for a Kendra Card Challenge Design Hop for super sponsor Whimsy Stamps. I am very happy to be playing with this stamp set, which I believe was released last month in March, and it's called Bunnies in the Garden. I just think this is the cutest stamp set, and I'll link it in the description box below if you're interested. And I'm also using their pattern paper. The reason I chose this pattern paper was because it's a bunch of different colors, so you have a nicer range, and it's not overly distracting because it's just simple backgrounds like stripes and polka dots. So I'm going to be following this sketch very closely, but I'm going to change it up a bit. I'm going to kind of create a weather scene here because it looks like, now that's supposed to be a bunny, but after coloring it, it kind of looks like a gerbil or a bear or something, but it's supposed to be a bunny. But anyways, her hair looks like, or her hat and everything looks like it's blowing, and like there's a wind coming. So I decided to make a little rainy scene. And so I cut my shape, which is that triangle that's part of the sketch, and I cut it in a cloud shape. And I'm just going to glue these on top of my strips, which are going to kind of indicate rain. I'm not doing the full length because I need to make sure that my image and my sentiment will fit in this scene, but I'm just going to trim off the rest, but I'm still following the sketch somewhat. I'm just changing it up a little bit. And when I say a little bit, I mean quite a bit. But I'm still using my pattern paper that's in the sketch, just manipulating it to my benefit. So now I'm just going to see where it fits perfectly, because I do have to bring my sentiment in there as well. And I'm going to be using the one that says, "You make me LOL." That one is the one that fits perfectly in this sketch. I'm not sure if anyone else falls in this, but the sentiment is always the last thing that comes along. I always am having fun creating the card, and then I gotta sneak in my sentiment afterwards. I was actually lucky that this one fit perfectly with this scene. Now I am keeping my card fairly simple. I'm not adding any texture to the background, no color. I just want to focus on the image and the rain cloud. Now I'm just going to make sure that my image and my cloud are going to be hanging off of that panel. I don't want anything contained, and to make sure that the bottom and the top are both doing that. So I've already have a little bit of the hat for the animal, and then the cloud is hanging on the top and the right hand side just a bit. And that's just kind of breaking that boundary, which I like to do. And now to finish off this card, I am bringing out the big old bottle of buttons that I received earlier in the month, and I'm just pulling out some blue ones, and I'm going to use some dots, or are they called dots or zots? I think they're called zots. And I'm going to put those down right at the tips of each one of these banners. Now I'm actually having quite a bit of fun with these buttons. I never really played with them, but it just adds something fun to the card. I know that based on previous comments that buttons were in and out, but now it's my turn to play with them. I'm a little late, but I'm having a lot of fun with them. Now, I just thought it was a little bit of flat with those buttons there and nothing else raised, so I decided to cut another cloud, a smaller one, using the exact same pattern paper, and I'm going to put it on top with a little bit of foam tape. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to line it up so that those diagonals are not lined up, so they're kind of segregated, just so that it's each other one, if that makes sense. And I like how that turned out. That just added a little bit more to this card. And there we go. That was for sketch number 13, I believe. So I actually have more time to play with another card, so I decided to create one with sketch 8. And I'm going to, once again, change it up slightly because I'm trying to create a very simple card, but I want to be able to still use the sketch pieces that are assigned. And what that means is that this background piece and my little strips are all from the sketch. So this is a great reminder that you do not have to do all 15 cards. It is recommended because you have chances of winning prizes, and you can submit 15 cards each month. So that's 3 months. So for this month, next month, and the following. But if you're running out of time, or you just have some scraps, or you just need to create one card, you can totally create just the one sketch and use it for your inspiration. You can follow it exactly, or you can change it up a bit. It all depends. Potentially your pattern paper just doesn't work exactly like this. And so it's not meant to stop you or make it challenging. It's all for fun. So remember, you do have lots of freedom on what you want to do. So I did stamp this. I'm not sure if I made my mistake yet. I accidentally glued this down before it had fully dried, and I put my fingers, oh no, yeah, here we go. So you'll see I make a mistake right here, and that happened. So it's not a big deal. So I'm just going to take that off, and I'm just going to recut that, glue that back down. And sometimes that happens, and you just have to remember that that VersaFine Clear ink does not dry as fast, but that comes with a benefit. That means you can heat set it perfectly. So I will never shame my VersaFine Clear ink. I will shame myself for making that rookie mistake, and I know I'll do it again. But that is totally fine. And then I put my acrylic block on that just to make sure that it adheres to that glitter piece of pattern paper that I had. And I cut that out with just a fancy rectangle die. So what I'm going to do now is I want a little bit of height to this piece. If you look at sketch 8, you can see how the two are glued together and then they're cut in a diagonal. So I want a little bit of height, and this will also make it easier to cut diagonally. So I glued it to a piece of scrap paper, and I'm just going to trim it off the excess. Then I'm going to bring out my trimmer, and what I'm going to do, and I'll try to show it to you, but it's kind of hard. It seems my camera is losing focus. I'm not sure. I think my setting changed, but I'm going to line up the bottom, the middle, and then the top right along that cut line. And so that will give you a perfect diagonal cut without cutting off too much of that pattern paper. If that makes sense. You can just pause it and you can see where I pointed it with the scissors. And then I'm just going to plop that down, and you'll notice because I put it on some cardstock that there's a little bit of height. There's that shadow, that dark line shadow, and that really makes a difference. So I'm going to do the same thing with my sentiment, sorry, and I'm going to add some foam tape. And this foam tape is from Uline. It is very thin. I believe it's 1/16 of an inch thick, very thin. And that will just do very similar as having a piece of scrap paper. It might be a little bit thicker than scrap paper, but I'm just going to plop that up right there in the corner. And it says, if friends were flowers, I'd pick you. And this little bunny is holding a really pretty flower. All of these have been colored offline with some Olo markers. If you're interested in watching coloring, I can always record it and add it, but I know there's so many people who do color online with Olos, and I'm also trying to make these videos shorter because this is a hop, which is also another great reminder to check out all the other design team members who are hopping along today with Whimsy Stamps and sharing their creativity. You will not be disappointed checking out what everyone else is going to be creating. To finish this off, I'm going to add my little butterfly, and I'm going to bring in some buttons. Because why not, right? I've already added them to the first card. Let's bring in some more. And I'm going to use some more blue ones and an orange one just to tie it in. Also because I don't want to use up all my blue ones. I could have a bottle of buttons with no blue. That would be sad. So there we go. Just going to just add these with those dots again. And I'm just going to create a little bit of triangle cluster around the bunny. And that's it. These are my two cards that I created using Whimsy Stamp products. Like I said, this is a release, I believe, from last month. It should still be available. It is absolutely adorable. I love these bunnies so much, and they were a lot of fun to color. So I do hope you enjoy this, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the hop. And until the next time, have a wonderful, beautiful day, and I'll talk to you all later. Take care, and bye.